Hi everyone, welcome to rachelpichleryoga. If we haven't met before, my name is Rachel and today we're doing a nice full body flow. I'm going to use my block a little bit today. And before we get started, I do want to ask you guys to head over to my community page. I've got some questions that I'd love for you guys to answer, all related to the content and the classes that I create for you guys, and specifically about what's going to happen in January, because I always do a month-long challenge and I want to make sure I'm creating a challenge, classes that suit you guys, that are what you guys want. So please head over there after this class. I've linked it in the description. I've linked it in the comments as well. Just click on it. It'll take you right to the questions that I'd love for you to answer. But find a little bit of space to move and let's get started. So let's begin today in tabletop. If you do happen to have a block to use today, just have it off to the side near the top of your mat. And we'll come over onto our hands and knees. You can spread your fingers out nice and wide, maybe even rock your hips side to side a couple times. And then I just want you to start to let your head get heavier. Like you want to bring your chin towards your collarbone. And then you might just start to roll your head towards your left shoulder. And maybe you're going to close your eyes. And then slowly let your head just fall back down. And maybe roll your head to the other side. A little different neck stretch, head roll today. You can start to let your head come back down. And then maybe go over to the left again. And bring it back. Soften your shoulders here. Feel free to go towards the right side. And then let's just do one more roll of the head to either side. I'm just starting to settle in. Notice how you are feeling so far today. Let your head fall back down. And then you can lift your head back up to a neutral place. You can even start to drop your belly towards your mat. Arch your back, lift your chest, and then maybe start to lift the chin. Maybe you're looking forwards. Maybe you're looking up a little more. With the exhale, start to round your spine. Give your tummy a squeeze. Bring your chin back towards your collarbone. Inhale again. Drop your belly. Lift your chest. And exhale as you round it out. Awesome, you guys. Let an inhale bring you back to a flat back. Tuck your toes if they're not already tucked under. And then lift your knees up into downward facing dog. And you might pedal your feet a couple times. Bend one knee, straighten the other, and switch. Just encouraging your heels towards your mat. How do your ankles, your calves feel? And then let your head get a little heavier. Push into your palms. Let your shoulders open up as you let your chest get heavy too. Maybe lifting your heels, bending your knees to get into your shoulders more. Let's take a nice deep breath in and out. Then use an inhale and start to look forwards. As you exhale, walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Take an inhale and lift your chest halfway up. Go for a nice long spine. As you exhale, fold forwards, bend your knees and take a moment. Let your upper body be heavy, your head be heavy, and let your chin get a little closer towards your collarbone. Feel the length through the legs. Feel free to bend your knees as much as you'd like. And maybe you're even comfortable closing your eyes here or just gazing softly towards your legs. Staying for another breath in your forward fold. And then we'll use an inhale, maybe rolling one vertebrae at a time to come up to standing. Let your arms dangle the whole way up, perhaps. Maybe your head is the last thing to reach the top. And you can add a shoulder roll in once you get there. Spread your fingers wide. Take a big inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift halfway. Go for a nice long spine. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. Walk your feet a little closer together, maybe all the way together. And use an inhale as you start to lift your right foot up. Look forwards too. Exhale, bring that right foot all the way to the top of your mat so you end up in a lunge. Once you're there, let the inhale bring your gaze forwards. Exhale your back foot to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding, planting your hands, step on back into your down dog. Feet can come together. Inhale your left foot up, look forwards. Exhale, send that foot to the top. Find a lunge. Once you're there, inhale, gaze forwards. Exhale, bring your back foot to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's come all the way up, reaching up, maybe looking up. And exhale as you lower your hands in front of your heart, down to your sides. Maybe roll your shoulders back and down again. Take a big inhale to reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. You can keep your feet hip width apart. Use an inhale, shift your weight forwards into a plank. Feel free to lower to your knees. As you exhale, bend your elbows. Maybe you come all the way onto your tummy. Maybe you stop halfway in chaturanga. Just switch to the top of your feet and inhale as you lift your chest for cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and your feet can come together. Inhale your right foot up, look forwards. Exhale, bring your foot there to the top of your mat in your lunge. Inhale. Exhale your back foot to the top. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step on back, downward facing dog, feet hip width apart. Inhale, shift your weight forwards into your plank, getting nice and warm. Exhale, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, lift your chest, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog, your feet can come back together. Inhale your left foot up. Exhale, bring it forwards. Nice, you guys. Inhale. Exhale your back foot to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, lower your arms to your sides. Maybe a shoulder roll. Beautiful. If you have a block to use today, bring it to the middle of your mat, the top of your mat. And then let's step our left foot back. So setting up a pyramid stance, widen your feet, push your heels, entire soles of your feet down into the ground so you're balanced. Your hands could come to your hips. Take an inhale to lengthen through your spine, and then with the exhale, we're just gonna tip forwards. So if you want to, bring your hands to your block or keep your hands on your hips, or maybe your hands come all the way down to your mat, but you're just folding forwards. Enjoy the stretch for the back of that front leg. Nice work, you guys. And then if your hands are on your mat, I want you to lift up a bit. So see if you can bring your chest a little higher, maybe the same height as your hips. If you want to hold on to your block, if you happen to have a block, we're just going to start to shift our weight into our front foot. So you don't have to hold on to anything here, but if you want to, you can. And we're just going to see if that back foot wants to float up. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And you're just going to end up somewhere in Warrior 3. If If your back leg is lifted, point those toes down. Maybe your hands start to hover. Maybe you're holding onto your mat or your block. Maybe you're holding onto your standing leg lightly. And if you did float your back foot, just start to bring it down back to where you were. If you want to fold forwards again, let your upper body get heavier. And then let's use an inhale to come back up through standing. You can bring your back foot to the top of your mat. Give your legs a nice shake. Take your right foot back, just switching sides. Hands to your hips, lengthen as you inhale. The exhale, bring you forwards. Keep just a little micro bend through that front leg, but we're trying to find that nice stretch there. Breathe. Maybe you keep your hands on your hips. Maybe you let your chest get heavier. Rest your hands on your block or your mat. And just slow down. How are you feeling so far today? Really feel the next breath that you take. And then either just stay here, or you could lift your chest up a little bit and maybe start to float onto that front foot, that front leg, whether you're holding onto something or not. And if you do have your back leg lifted any amount, try to flex that foot. Wake up the leg. It's going to get a whole lot lighter if you wake it up. Maybe making that T shape-ish with your body. Nicely done, you guys. If you are up in Warrior 3, you can gracefully come back, plant your foot, maybe take another forward fold, and then use an inhale to rise back up. Nice job, you guys. Bring your back foot to the top of your mat. If you've got a block on your mat, you can scooch it to the side. Once you're standing though, roll your shoulders back and down. Take an inhale, reach up. As you exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back into downward dog, and bring your feet together. With an inhale, your right foot can lift, look forwards. Exhale, send your foot between your hands. Help it get there. Once you end up in a lunge, maybe you're gonna bring your knee down and flip to the top of that back foot. Sink into your hips. Find that left hip flexor. You can keep your hands on your mat, or you can lift your chest. Maybe place your hands on your knee. Sinking into those hips. So kind of like you want to tuck your tailbone under. And maybe that will give you a little bit more of that left hip flexor. Soften your shoulders. And if you want to, lift your back knee up. I want you to try to keep this hip flexor stretch. So you might tuck your back toes and lift your knee, but still sinking into those hips, like you want to tuck your tailbone under, sending those hips forwards and down. Nice work, you guys. So if you are lifted, we're going to bring our hands back down to our mat. In your lunge, take an inhale and look forwards. Exhale, bring your back foot to the top of your mat. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands, step on back into your down dog, feet together. Inhale your left foot up. Exhale, bring your foot forward. Set up your lunge, lower your knee down, rest on the top of your back foot so that we can sink into our hips a little more before we do maybe lift our back knee. So sinking those hips forwards and down, kind of like you want to tuck your tailbone under. Feel free to keep your hands down on your mat, your chest on your front knee, or to lift up. Just breathe, soften those shoulders, and then stay with your back knee down. Stay here, or tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up. Sink into those hips again. See if you can keep that left hip flexor lengthening, stretching, but also strengthening the legs too. If you are lifted up, bring your hands back down. Use an inhale, look forwards. Exhale your back foot to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up to standing, reaching up, looking up maybe, and exhale as you lower your arms all the way down to your sides, maybe a shoulder roll. If you've got a block and you've been finding it useful, you can bring it back. We're going to set up our pyramid stance again. So right foot forwards, left foot back. Inhale to lengthen, hands to the hips maybe. Maybe you want your hands on your low back or in front of your heart, wherever your arms want to be. We're just going to fold forwards. All right, and of course, with an opportunity to float our back foot again or skip that part, you can enjoy this forward fold. Maybe you want to interlace your hands behind your back, get into your shoulders. But if you do want to start to float that back foot, let's go there. Let's find our warrior three again. Except this time, you guys, maybe you're going to let your back leg get higher and your chest get lower. And you might end up more in a standing split than a warrior three. And if you really want to challenge your balance, you're just trying to lift that back leg as high as it wants to go, but your hands can be on the ground, or maybe they hang on to your leg, your standing leg. One hand or both hands. I don't know. Almost done here though. So you can gracefully bring your back leg down if it's up, and then use an inhale to lift all the way back up to standing. Having some fun if you want to. Switch sides though. Take a breath. Lengthen again. Inhale, let the exhale tip you down. Maybe you stay in your triangle. Halfway, hands to your hips. This is perfect. Just focus on that front leg. Strong, but getting a stretch. If you do want to play around, of course you can go there. Float that back leg maybe. Start with your warrior three. Stay here, or maybe you want to see what happens as the chest gets heavier, the back leg gets higher, and you're just going to go by feel. Do whatever you would like to do. Challenge yourself. Maybe you can hold on to your standing leg with one hand, maybe both hands, like you want to hug your leg. And you're just going to gracefully come back down the way you came. And then let an inhale lift you back up. Nice job, you guys. Bring your back foot to the top of your mat. If you've got a block, scooch it off to the side again. Roll your shoulders back and down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forwards. Plant your hands, step back into your downward facing dog. Bring your feet together. Inhale your right foot up and exhale, bring it through. Plant your foot between your hands. Lower your back knee down. Rest on the top of that back foot. Sink your hips forwards and down. And then we will be finding the length through our front leg. So you can start to send your hips back, half splits. Maybe point your toes up towards the ceiling or the sky above you. If you have full splits in your practice, you might slide that front foot forwards or kind of heel toe your front foot forwards, or you can stay in your half splits. And maybe you end up off of your mat. Poor planning on my part. Awesome job, you guys. Breathe. Wherever you are. And if you did come for that full split, you can gracefully find your way back into the half split. And then back into your lunge as well. So bend your front knee, tuck your back toes, maybe lift your knee up, but we're just gonna end up in down dog. So push into your hands, bring your right foot back next to the left one. Inhale your left foot up, exhale, bring it through. Place your back knee down. Rest on the top of your back foot, sinking into those hips for a moment. And then you can send your hips back. Find your half split. Stay here or slide your front foot back, or maybe it's your back knee or a combination of the two, just lengthening your legs more if you want to. And breathe wherever you are. Awesome work, you guys. If you are somewhere further than your half split, that could be a 3/4 or somewhere in between, find your way back and then into your lunge too. Bend that front knee, maybe tuck your back toes and pick your knee up, but then downward dog. Beautiful, you guys. Send your hips high. Let your chest get heavy. Take a nice big inhale and then exhale. Lower your knees down and you can bring your knees out wide. Send your hips back. Find child's pose. Rest your forehead. Soften your shoulders. Slow down your breath. And when you feel good to lift back up, you can walk your hands in. Maybe bring your knees together so that you can cross your ankles and have a seat. Just bend your knees. Give your knees a little bit of a hug. A little rock side to side even. Awesome job, you guys. You can find your way either onto your back or into a nice comfy seat. That concludes our practice today, and I do want to remind you just one more time to head over to my community page and answer a couple questions for me. Enjoy the rest of your day, maybe spend some moments in Shavasana, but until next time, namaste.